Hello there, Mr. Joe.
Yeah, Mike,
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are things looking out there in Florida today?
Things are bright and sunny.
That's good. That's good. It's a little cloudy out here.
You should tilt your camera forward a little bit because all I have is your chin up. There you go.
I'm trying to show off my Alamo
Oh,
sign
yeah. Deep in the heart of Texas.
there. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So did oh yeah, we spoke a little bit about that shiny new object.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spoke last week about that.
What's up
Yeah.
with that?
Oh, nothing. We just you and I talked about it for a little bit, and it had something to do with DSCRs and um the Fannie Mae new rules and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Farah had sent me something from the guy that created PropWire, where he
Okay.
said if you bring him a deal, he'll give you $10,000 and he'll do all the work.
Oh yeah. I know about that. Hmm.
But you got to buy the $10,000 CRM and research tool to get the data, to get the deal, to get him to pay you 10 grand.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah. Hey, you there's a market for it. So somebody's willing to pay.
I would bet 99, I would 90, no, I'm going to go 98% of the people that join Pace or Jamil's group or any of these other guys, they're more in it to be part of the group than they are to do deals.
Um, yeah, well, if that's the case, we're in a weird place. But the thing is that it's good that that's available.
Yeah.
It's needed. It's needed.
Yeah.
The things aren't like we used to back then, where you and I had to, and this is before the internet,
Yeah.
where we had to go places and actually meet people in person,
Yeah.
to get leads. You're down at the courthouse. How many times have you gone down to a courthouse to get records?
And I used to do it once a week because Volusia County 10, 15 years ago didn't have probate information online. You actually had to go pull the files.
Yep. You see what I mean?
Oh yeah, I went once a week for probably 2 years.
So you could see how that
And then, by the way, the courthouse for me was in DeLand, Florida, which is about 35 miles away from Daytona.
oh
Yeah, it wasn't. It was. Yeah, it was. It was a all. It
yeah.
was at least a half a day event.
Yeah. It's kind of like, me traveling back and forth home. I have to go through two counties to get there.
Yeah.
So the ticket was you had to go to another city further south to go pay it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You must be here in person.
Yeah. Hang on
So
a
yeah.
second. Did I tell you last week that my offer got accepted on that coin operated laundry?
No, you were where they were considering the offer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we left off last Monday, but I didn't know it got accepted.
It got accepted.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's right. It did, because you're looking for you got gap funding.
Not yet. Actually, what it is I've never done a coin operated laundry, so I actually had to hire an attorney to do the deal
Right.
because I have never done one. So it's kind of like when Pace said that he came up with the idea for Gator funding, and then You know, he did that webinar and then everybody paid $3,000 because that's what he paid for the contracts.
Uh-huh.
So everybody, you know, and basically what it is I called 3 different attorneys. I called 4 attorneys. The first one I just got from doing a search on Google for business transaction attorneys. And first question I talked to the guy was, have you ever bought or sold for a client a coin operated laundry? No. And then he wanted to charge me $375 to talk to him for an hour so he could get all the particulars.
It's like,
You
I can
have
write
no
that down in
experience.
5 minutes.
You have no experience and you want me to pay you $375 to learn.
Hmm.
So what I did is, you know how I made 125 phone calls to find this one to buy?
Right.
I called probably 30, 35 of those owners back. And this time when I called, I wasn't, hey, I want to talk to the owner because I want to buy the place. Because I said, can I speak? I asked for the owner by first name because I know who they are now. And
Right.
the person on the phone's like, I'm sure you take my name and my number. Why do you want to talk to him? Well, I'm buying a coin operated laundry up in Orlando. I'd like to ask his advice or her advice. And the tone changed. It was amazing.
Asking for a favor.
I learned it's exactly right. Asking for a favor.
Yeah.
And
That could be dangerous these days, but go ahead.
and I had like 5 of them call me back.
Wow.
2 of
And
them
they called you back.
2 of them talked my ear off for 45 minutes.
Wow. That's something you learned. That's helpful information there.
And now I can truthfully say, I mean, I stumbled upon this, but now when I'm calling businesses, can I speak to the owner? What for? Not I want to buy the place, which they're going to hang up the phone. Hey, I'm buying this business wherever. I want to ask their advice.
Yeah.
Now, what ended up happening is, when they called back, like, what can I help you with? I'm like, I'm buying a coin operated laundry. I've never bought one before. I want to hire an attorney that has experience with coin operated laundries. And and they're like, oh, first I said, when you bought yours, did you use an attorney? One guy, everybody bought, bought a business. So it's just an asset sale. And then one guy actually bought the building and the coin operated laundry came with it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was more of a real estate transaction.
Right.
I don't need contracts for that. I do those all the time. But with an asset purchase, you're not purchasing real estate. So anyway, I got 3 referrals. One guy said he had experience with coin operated laundry and he was going to charge me 10 grand.
Woo.
I talked to another guy. He owns 4 coin operated laundries. His daughter is a lawyer and she did the transactions for him.
Oh, okay.
I talked to her and she wants $5,000 non-refundable.
Okay.
Then I talked to another fellow who referred me to a guy in Tampa. The guy in Tampa said, yes, he's done coin operated laundries before. And I said, okay, great. He said it should be right around $2,500. But if I don't spend the whole $2,500, then I refund you the money.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go.
Now, remember the second one I told you where the guy referred me to his daughter? He owns 4 and his daughter handled the transactions.
Right.
He told me he's 86 years old. And I said, he said, I'm 86 years old. And I'm like, oh, no kidding. I said, well, would you consider selling your coin operated laundries? And he said, well, I'm 86 years old and I don't want to sell because I'm going to take a huge capital gains hit. I said to him, what if I could structure it in such a way that you wouldn't take that capital gains hit? And he said, how do you do that? And I said, well, if we can work out some seller financing, now that is when I pay you every month, that is proceeds of a loan and that's non-taxable.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, and he said, well, I don't know. And he said, I'll probably just die and leave it to my kids. So I said to him, how about if I gave you 30% down, take back 70% seller financing, so you got some cash and you don't have to pay the tax on it because it's proceeds of a loan. And I'll give you 50% of the profits every month. He's like, well, that sounds pretty good. We'd have to sit down together and have, and I'd have to meet you face to face. I'm like, hey, I'll drive down to West Palm Beach and I'll have a cup of coffee with you. No problem.
Uh-huh.
I'm there for Cody Sanchez.
Yeah.
Give him 50% of the profits until I buy him out.
Yeah.
And my buyout plan is anywhere from 13 to 24 months. He doesn't know that.
Right.
But that's how you get control. You just tap into that greed. So all that, then I called the daughter. All right, this is all prior to me calling the daughter. I called the daughter, told her what I wanted, what is me and her dad, I'm buying a corner operator laundry. I'm looking for an attorney with experience. She's like, well, that's not what I did, but I did it for my dad. I'm like, well, what would you charge me to do it for me? And that's when she said $5,000 non-refundable. And after we got done talking about that, I said, do you mind if I ask you a personal question? And she said, what? I said, do you have any brothers or sisters? And she said, yeah, I got 2 brothers. I said, did you know that your dad's planning on keeping the laundries till he dies and then you guys get to run them after that? And she said, no. And I said, do you or either one of your brothers want to run a coin operated laundry? And she's like, we haven't talked about it. I'm like, well, you might want to talk about it because that's your dad's plan.
Yeah, you might want
And I
to.
said, I work probate cases. I'm a real estate investor. I work probate cases all the time. And I can't tell you how many times an heir gets a business or a house that they don't want dumped on them. Then they're like, what are we going to do? So obviously I'll be, the holidays are coming up. I'll probably call her back after the holidays because, most families get together over the holidays. And I'm sure I put a bug in her ear when she sees her dad, like, I'm a lawyer. What do I know about running a coin operated laundry? But, I'll call back and check, hey, did you talk to your brothers about what, I'd like to buy these coin operated laundries if you guys don't want to run them, so that's what that led into.
Yeah. And then plus you're looking at how expensive that's going to be for them. If he didn't take, and so basically you gave that family a good topic to cover, Thanksgiving dinner.
Absolutely.
Where you've got to put those, if they didn't know, then you got to start putting these ducks in a row right now.
That's right. And it's one of them deals where, they give me seller financing. He passes away. We can put it in the contract. They just continue to get monthly checks. No probate, no nothing. Just boom. The checks, instead of go from me to him, they go from me to them. Did I lose you?
You didn't lose me.
Okay. I think Joe locked up.
There he comes.
Joe, you back? Joe, you back? Can't hear you.
No.
Hi, Carol. Oh, I think we just
Hi there.
Is Rose here? Oh, yeah, there she is.
The Rose is here.
am.
Hi, Rose.
Well, anyway,
Hi, Carol.
The reason it gets caught in probate is because they didn't plan ahead.
right.
There's no need for probate if you put your ducks in a row ahead of time.
That's exactly true.
And it just tells you there's a whole industry for that.
Right.
Because people don't know what, and you're talking to a lawyer.
Yeah. I'm talking to a lawyer.
You're talking to a lawyer and they don't know, they didn't have this information. And I bet you if they didn't have this, they're not prepared for what's about to come.
No. People don't plan for it.
No.
So, like I said, I'll wait until January and then I'll call that family back, or I'll call that family back and say, hey, did you talk about it?
Yeah. And the whole reason is your plan isn't to buy them out or anything. Your plan puts that, like you said, that bug in their ear.
Yeah.
To where now, if he didn't know up to this point, you said he's 86.
86.
He didn't know that there's another option.
That's
Or
right.
else he sold this 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And so now he'll get out of this. They're all, because of one conversation with you, everybody's a bit wiser now, and they know what to expect.
It's like Cody Sanchez says, right now there's 1 million businesses for sale and 90% of them won't sell.
Yeah.
They'll just close. Now,
Yeah.
remember I told you I went out and hired that lawyer for $2,500?
Yep.
And I got a little extra just because, he says if I don't spend it all, then, I'll get a refund. But what attorney is not going to spend it all?
I can type you up an invoice right now.
But what did I spend $2,500 for? A 6-page contract to hire. I signed a 6-page contract to hire the attorney.
Mm-hmm.
None of it is about the deal. All of it is about what happens, how he gets paid, and what happens if I don't pay him.
Wow.
Now, I want to read to you the after the cover letter, after his signature, I'm going to read this paragraph. This agreement contains provisions requiring arbitration of fee disputes. Before you sign this agreement, you should consider consulting with another lawyer. This guy's contract tells me to go get a lawyer to watch this lawyer.
And there's the loop.
Can you believe that? This and this was the guy that, the other one was $5,000 non-refundable, and the other guy was $10,000.
Yeah.
I was like, and so I called him up on the phone before I signed it, and I said, do you realize that your contract tells me to go get a lawyer to watch you? And he kind of like stuttered. And I said, and this contract doesn't talk anything about your services or what you're going to provide. And he said, well, we're just going to provide general legal services. The way they write these things, it's just that. And I only bring that up because all lawyers are the same way. The only thing they care about is getting paid.
Well, yeah. I mean, after your Chicago deal, that was the consistent. They were all the same.
Yeah.
All there's no money in it.
All they can care about is getting paid.
Yeah, there's no money in it. There's no money in it.
And the thing about it is, I didn't want to push it because I need to get this contract out the door. But
Right.
I told him, I said, if it ain't written down, it didn't happen. He's like, oh, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. All that. But when you and I do a contract for services, things are written down. We'll do this by this, and this will happen. If that doesn't happen, this will happen.
Yeah.
But the way this thing is written, it's like we'll do the best we can do the best we can for you. But if it doesn't work out, you still owe us money.
Oh man.
So anyway,
where do you go from there? It's a tough situation.
Yeah. But that being said, at the end of the day, it might not be a perfect situation. But again, this is my first time through going and buying a coin operated laundry that doesn't come with, it's not a pure real estate transaction. Right. So you got to hire an attorney to go through the process. You know what I mean? Once I know the process, I don't have to hire another attorney.
Right. Just copy and paste.
Change the names.
Yep.
That's it. But that's when I was talking to Carol about this deal. That's exactly what it was. You got to pay. You got to buy the contract the first time.
Yeah. And now you know why people spend so much money revising their contracts and going through and adding more.
Yeah.
And then you have to go back and actually review your contract to make sure you're still up to code with whatever new changes just came out.
Yeah. Like that coin operated laundry we were looking at in Melbourne where the guy signed it and never read it.
Oh man.
Never read his contract. And basically what it was is the leaseholder, the guy that owns the strip mall, can kick him out at any time with no notice for any reason. That's not a lease.
No. And the thing is, you take him to court, you got to hire another lawyer, you know, but you take him to court, will a judge, I mean, everything's fair, but how do you, the only thing I think that would, what I'm trying to say is, if the contract is set up so terrible that it leans more towards the landlord than it is to the tenant, you know, a judge should step in and say, hey, you know, this is not, you know, leans too much on your favor. And there are judges out there who go after those types of contracts and say, because you put all this in there and he's not going to believe, like, and you signed this. That's the thing. You should be punished. You know, this is something that should go through because you actually signed that, saying that it's okay for this guy to do whatever he wants.
When it comes to residential real estate, you
Yeah.
can find sympathetic judges. When you get into the commercial world, you should have known better.
Yeah. And that's what I was asking. Yeah. You should have known better.
Should have known better.
Yeah.
And
residential, they're going to take care of homeowners.
Oh, yeah. Oh, like in Florida, any real estate contract has a 3-day right of rescission.
Right. Yeah.
So a seller can sign it and then get cold feet and cancel the contract in 3 days. If you're a seasoned citizen, it's 7 days.
Oh, I'm a senior citizen. Wow.
Seasoned citizen.
Yeah. I like how you change the terms of that. The closer we get to that number.
That's right, man. Damn straight. Oh, anyway,
I freaked out the first time I got the AARP in my mailbox. I'm like,
what?
Who's this for?
Yeah, exactly. What the hell? Yeah, when I turned 50, I started getting that crap too. Then I looked in the mirror this morning, I saw all these, and I was like, oh.
I stopped looking in the mirrors.
So anyway, that's what's kept me busy, and I just want to let you know that Rose Angeli is a superstar.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I heard.
That girl.
I spoke to you on Wednesday.
Thank you,
2 days later.
That girl has sent
I
me
told you. Mhm.
3 or 4 multifamily apartment buildings, and we're talking from small to big. And she's found me 3 coin operated laundries other than what I'm working on, and all the sellers are interested in seller financing.
Sounds like a
Text
plan.
you for it, Mike, but I'll let you slide.
Oh yeah, I'm all about that, but I just want to let you know that
She's
Rose
a star.
is a star, and she's got on the right track, and I am going to do everything I can to keep up with her and get deals done and get buyers or acquire them ourselves. And I'm telling you what, we are definitely going to make a lot of money.
You know what, Mike? I feel like it's too much. Like now, my husband told me, he said, you need to slow down because like as soon we hung up with you, I got something else. And then I said, like, listen, I'm going to send it to him tomorrow because it's like too much and I'm getting embarrassed.
I'm here to tell you, sweetheart, send everything you got to me.
Oh my gosh.
I want to let you guys know that with Rose, she now has her own folder in my Gmail, so I can keep track of all her deals. And I started a filing cabinet just for her.
That's too much. I'm sorry. I will stop.
No, that is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying stop. What I'm saying, I like getting drinks with fire hoses. Love it.
Yeah, but like it's
But
yeah.
see, the thing about it is you make the initial phone call. Once they go into that file, they can sell it to me or die. One or the other. I'm going to follow up with those two people until they either die or sell it to me.
Okay. Okay.
Now, who is that? We got to see who that is.
Oh, Jax, my son. Jax, come here. Wait,
What's it?
he's
What's your son's name?
Jax.
Jackson? Hello, Jackson.
He's he's insane because it's like 6. It's almost time for to go to bed, and he doesn't want to know nothing. Jax, go, and like he doesn't want to leave me alone. So now my husband's gonna take him because it's too much.
Here, jump here. No. Here, jump here.
So I have 2 kids. So that's Jax, and then Stella is somewhere over there. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. How
Yeah.
old is Jackson?
It's Jax. It's not Jackson. I was very precise on that. So it's Jax is 2 and Stella is 4.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
2
So
and
thank
4.
you, Mike.
Wow.
Yeah. There, like it's a lot, but like so sometimes I really don't know how I'm gonna do it all, but like I try, and I think if I keep trying, it's gonna end somewhere. But thank you, Mike, for saying that. It's really encouraging, and like I don't know what I'm doing, but I think I'm doing something. And yeah.
All right, let me put it this way. If you don't know what you're doing, stop learning. Because you're so naturally good at what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing. Don't learn another thing.
By the way, I got someone wants to hire me for their company. He's a realtor, and he said, like, you're so good that by me talking to you, it makes me want to learn more. So he sent me a thing to say, like, you should apply to work for me. And I said, well, no, I have a job and I'm not in the States. So
Yeah. Your days of having a job are over. Your days of being an investor have just begun.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. And
Trust
thank
me
you,
when I
Carol.
tell
Hi,
you.
Carol.
Yeah, trust me when I tell you, you got it going on. You have the gift to be able to call people up, get them to like you, and then get them to agree to seller financing, which, by the way, admittedly in commercial is much easier.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're throwing these deals, you know, like I said when we talked over the weekend, I had to seriously think about how I'm going to handle all this deal flow, you know, to organize it so I don't get all wired.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I did is all right, I'm going to create a file and a electronic file and a folder on my Gmail account and all that stuff. But that's good.
You make me sound bad.
No, you are a rock star. It's my job to keep up with you.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Just remember the rule.
Oh yes, I remember the rule. I think.
Got to look at 100 deals to find 10 that are interesting that you want to do a research on. Not you. You just keep shoveling out the deals.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go, you know, good, bad, or ugly, and then here's the 10 that I'm gonna do a deep dive on. We'll make an offer on 3 and buy 1.
Okay.
But that's because that deal will be screaming like people were like, "Oh my God, how did you do that? How did you do that?"
Yeah. Okay.
And then rinse and repeat.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's all a numbers game.
Yeah.
But like I said, the hard part is having somebody like you to go out there and contact people and get our name, you know, in front of them and give them an option, because there's lots and lots of people out there. A lot of the baby boomers are approaching their late 70s, early 80s, and they're done. They just, you know, they want to move on.
Yeah. I guess I never thought about it, but like now that you're mentioning it, like a lot of them have been asking me, like, how come do you know about real estate in the States and not like, and like we don't know about it, and like we don't know what you're saying, like the creative financing situation, and like I really like I'm like I don't know, And I was really honest with when I said, I don't know how you don't know about it, but we're trying to educate people. And then he gave me the information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, how do you ask people for seller financing?
Oh my gosh. You know what? It depends. Like when I'm talking to someone, I guess it just flows out.
How would you like to continue to get paid on your business and not have the headache of managing it?
Yeah, but listen, when
And I'm
I'm
sure
talking,
you've probably made it
Yeah.
your own now.
yes.
Yeah.
So I'm usually like it's in between like a laugh, and then I just ask one of them. Like I think the one in Tampa, or yeah, I asked him. I said, you know what like he was talking to me about like he doesn't want to pay taxes, and I said, what if I have a way for you to get the whole thing, and not someone who's trying to lowball you without paying the IRS because they didn't do anything about your financing. And then he said, okay, so what is it? And then I said, well, it's like this. But I said, but then I have my partner Mike, and he's in the States, and he's going to be able to talk to you a little bit more. And then start laughing, and then that's how I basically put it in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you start the conversation about seller financing. A lot of people don't understand that. They just, they've run their business for 40 years and they've just cash in, cash out,
Yeah. And one of them to ask me if the IRS was going to come to them. And I said, well, I don't think so. I said, Mike is pretty legit. And if that would have happened, he would have told me.
Yeah.
And then he laughed. And then I laughed.
Yeah.
And then
The best thing to do is have them speak to their own CPA and the difference between selling all cash and seller with owner financing. And once their own CPA points out what a benefit is to sell it on owner financing, they're hooked for life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just FYI, I CC'd you on the email that I sent to Trisha about the company, the houses, and the buildings. Okay. Okay. Bye. Bye, Mike.
Okay. See ya. Boy, that was fun.
I'm still here, but I'm just because I just wanted to tell you that like if you see the email, it's me. I've CC'd you. It's like I CC'd you and like we talked about it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll look at it and then we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Okay. I'm still here, but I'm putting myself on mute.
Okay. Hey Carol, what you up to?
I am still here. My laptop is not working on my iPod, so I'm in and out. And I was late cooking dinner, so I'm putting some stuff in the oven while I'm listening to you guys.
Did you see what your money bought?
Yeah, I heard.
A 6-page contract to hire a lawyer, and it says nothing about what he's actually going to do.
I heard.
6 pages of you need to pay us, and what happens if you don't pay us?
So when does he get down to business after that? You sign the contract. What is he gonna do?
I've already got an email from him where he's asking me for all kinds of pre-due diligence documents. So in other words, like hang on a second, let me open it up.
He's asking for something.
Oh yeah, he's already on it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's one thing I can actually say.
All right, so I might get this done before December rolls around, or the mid-December somewhere.
Working on it, yeah. He wants real property lease agreements, i.e., I've already sent a text to the seller about giving me the contact information of the leaseholder. That would be the person that owns the strip mall.
Right.
Any contracts requiring periodic payments, intellectual property rights, including copyrights, trademarks, trade names, details, manufacturer's warranties for the machines, any pertinent information regarding equipment.
In other words, he wants it all.
Yeah, details regarding the wash and fold service and the commercial business, cost and revenues for that service, invoices, accounts receivable, and basically the same thing for the commercial pickup.
So do you have a timeline as to when you're gonna get those from the owners to send it to him?
I just got it like 45 minutes before this call, so I will put that, rewrite that email and then send it over to the seller tomorrow.
Okay.
But basically, I
Sounds
said,
good.
are these things that would come up in the due diligence package, or is this something I need to get ahead of time? And he said, these are all things that would go in the term sheet that is part of the purchase package.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. But again, as I told him, and the reason I'm going through this with you guys is because I am on the steep end of the learning curve on this one. This is like me going through my first apartment deal. It's
So
like me going through my first single family home deal.
well, we're learning with you then.
Yeah, exactly.
You
That's why
you learn and then you tell us.
yeah, exactly. I go through it, I learn, and you guys get the benefit of it.
Yes, sounds good.
But
Well, while I'm on the thing with you guys on Wednesday, I'll be out of the country for about a week. I'm gonna go down to Jamaica for a memorial service. My husband's aunt died, but don't say sorry for your loss yet. That was when COVID started. So we've done all the sorry for the loss for the last 2-3 years. So we're actually going for a memorial service. We just have the ashes and stuff. So we're just gonna go down and have a party. So it's on Saturday. And then after that,
you're having an Irish wake.
that's it. So after the Irish wake on Saturday, we'll just spend 2 days at the resort and we're back on Wednesday.
With a name,
But I'll have Wi-Fi and text, so I'll be good.
With the last name Grady, I'm very familiar with those.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't believe in all that wailing and crying stuff. We're like, hey, have a
No.
party. Let's celebrate the life of the person we loved.
Exactly. We're going down. We're gonna have a party. We're gonna have some food, some music, some dancing. You name it. We're gonna have all up Saturday night and Sunday.
I heard one time that Jamaicans like to party. Just heard that.
Oh, you just heard that? Well, I'm here to confirm. You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Every Jamaican I've ever known, and I used to work with a bunch of them when I was building bridges in South Florida before I went to college. All of them are great, fun people.
Oh yeah, most of them are.
Yeah.
You have some. Of course, you have some bad apples, but most of them are.
Yeah. Well, the ones that came to America and were working. I mean,
exactly.
the ones that I knew on my crew, they showed up every day and they worked hard and they were good guys.
They work, yeah. They do.
Yeah.
They do.
I learned how to say bumba clot and blood clot and all that.
Oh God, Jesus. Who taught you that? Jesus. They did a bad thing.
Like I said, I was working with construction workers.
Joe, close your ears. He's cursing Jamaican bad words.
That's right.
Yep, those are people's words down there.
Yep.
I probably heard some. As soon as I get out of the airport, I'll hear a few. Trust me.
So tell me, other than funding my attorney, what have you done this week? Anything good? And by this week, I mean since the last Zoom call.
The last time I talked, today is Monday. I spoke to a lady did I tell you I spoke to a lady last week? She was in Maryland, but she's in Florida. She has 7 midterm rentals. Did I mention anything like this?
No.
No.
What are they? Airbnbs?
So I guess it's this week I spoke with her. She has 7 midterm rentals. 6 of them are on the same street, and one of them is 30 minutes away.
Wow.
She said she wants to sell the one 30 minutes away. So I asked her why she wants to sell it. She said she lives in Maryland. When she goes down to do power washing, she just line up the truck in one row and just go down and do all the stuff. It's too hard for her to pack it up and go 30 minutes away to do the other one. So in other words, she don't have any real pain.
Right.
Right. So she said she talked to a substitute student. She wanted to do seller financing or whatever the substitute student do. But none of them wanted to look at her. None of them wanted to give her the deal that she wanted. So she was going to put it to a realtor. She also said it's an hour away from Orlando, from Disney, and it's in a 55 and older community. But right, that's what a substitute student says. But she said it's all of them are cash flow because you don't have to rent them to the 55 and over age group.
Well, is it
And-
anything like the one that I've got going on at Bartow where the HOA approves the buyers or approves the renters?
No, I never got into the HOA part with her, and I think
That's-
that's my missing. I have
That's
to
the
find
thing
out
that
more.
makes those tough, those 55+ communities, is the HOA approves the buyer or approves the renter.
Yeah, it could be right because it's the 55 and older community. Yeah,
And
but anyway,
that's why if she was
yeah.
talking to one of Pace's sub-2 students,
that would say no. Yeah,
they would
right.
be hesitant.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's probably it. But she said it's cash flowing, and she said she takes it off of Airbnb between January and April, the busy time, because she has a waiting list because she has family that come down. And she's had it for the last 7 years.
It's Orlando.
Yeah, it's Orlando. Yeah,
I mean, when
and
it
she
starts,
said,
we're
yeah.
getting into the part of the year. I mean, I was watching the Buffalo Bills football game last night, and they already had Christmas commercials on.
Yeah, they do.
You know, it's it's November, but I was watching November 5th, and they're running Christmas commercials with snow on the ground and everything. So
Yep.
everything north of Georgia is going to start getting cold, like where you're at.
Oh yeah,
And
it's
when
getting
people
cold.
get sick of the cold, they come to Florida.
Exactly, and that's why she doesn't have an Airbnb because she has those snowbirds that come down there from January to April, so it's full
Yeah.
of book during that time.
Yeah,
And
and
just
she doesn't need to advertise on Airbnb. Pulls it off,
Nope,
saves the money.
she does not, and it's turnkey. And she said she's looking for 278,000 or something like that. Yeah, she said she'd turn it over to her agent, and the agent's gonna list it. I think it's today or tomorrow. But if I have anybody interested, they can still call because they can always talk to the agent.
I'll tell you the same thing I tell everybody: send it to me.
Yes, I'll send it to you when I get off
And the
this phone.
reason why is if she's interested in seller financing,
She is.
the purchase price is irrelevant.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to somebody today about a deal they got going on in Punta Gorda, Tim Beasy, and he the seller has it listed for about $100,000 what we would need to buy it for to be able to wholesale it. And I said, if that doesn't work, then go back to the seller with creative financing.
Yeah.
But then he called me back and said the realtor's going to present our wholesale offer. So obviously we'd rather do that first.
Yeah.
But,
I'll send it to you. You can look at it later.
But yeah, I mean, if she wants $278,000 for the property, that means it's got to be doing $27,000 a year in revenue.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's turnkey, ready to go.
Okay, did you just text it to me?
Yeah, I just did.
Okay, all right.
Her name is Lori. So look at it. Let me know.
I'll take a look at it and put it out there. And it's interesting.
Yeah.
She has a waiting list in from January to April in a 55+ community.
Exactly.
And it's an Airbnb, so I am guessing that you don't have that typical 55+ community because they could not approve. I mean, they just don't work. First of all, in a 55+ community, a HOA is usually populated by people that live there.
Right. Yeah.
Citizens are not getting up the crack of dawn and working until midnight. You know what I mean?
That is true. So it's something to talk to her about and see exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Because if she has a waiting list for that month, and it's all and she has 7 of them, so no cash flowing.
And the HOA is cool with an Airbnb.
Yep.
Because that's a weekly. Those are weekly rentals, right?
Right. Exactly. So I talked to her at length for a while, and then I told her what I did, and I told her that I connect borrowers to lenders. She said, "Oh, I didn't know that. I was trying to look for somebody." She said, "If you have it in a gap loan or anybody wants to borrow, I can lend. My partner and I can lend 100 and under K." So I'm like, "Ooh, okay." Joe, my eyes lit up or my ears lit up.
Hold a second. Did I mishear you, or did you just say you found a private lender?
The same lady that is selling that thing, she says her partner and I wants to get it in lending. She said that she has $100,000 to lend. So I quickly added to my list, talked to her some more, and sent her my email and all that good stuff. I got the partner's name and talked to her some more, and got off the phone and went and made a deal with somebody else who has a house that's made $60,000 a gap fund. Put them together, talked to them. Huh?
I just think you're just kicking butt and taking names. That's amazing. That is
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. You're taught, and isn't it amazing when you talk to successful people that when you
Mhm.
mention like, hey, listen, I also, lend money to people that, need gap funding for different projects, and they perk right up like, oh,
Right, they perk right up. Yeah. So
there's,
you just have to talk
and
and talk it because you never know who you're talking to.
Grant Cardone talks about this all the time. And Dan Pena, that real obnoxious Dan Pena, but he's a billionaire. He talks about it all the time too. There's more money than deals.
Yep.
People with money don't know how to find deals.
And it's
People
true.
with deals generally don't know how to find people with money. So that's why somebody like you, Carol, is super valuable.
Yeah. Super valuable because I didn't even know all of that just talking to her. And it was just something I saw she put out there. So she was looking for something like that.
Exactly.
And yeah.
And you're gonna bring her quality people because you're gonna pre-qualify. There
Yep,
she is.
I am. I put the stuff in the open so I can talk now. Yeah, and it was on a Zoom and we were talking about PCS and we were talking about LLC. And she said she was in Maryland. She signed up for LLC and she has not got something yet. And I texted her and said, I'm in the same boat. I'm in Maryland and I didn't get my LLC. And just in talking to her, she mentioned about selling the stuff in Florida and just talking. And I told her what I did. And she said, okay. And I said, are you in real estate? And she said, yeah, I am. She does long term and short term. And she said she signed up for Gator in September, but she hasn't read this stuff yet. So I said, all right, let me get you to do this before you even get into Gator, so that you could do this yourself.
So the woman you were talking to that has the Airbnb who says she's got $100,000 to lend signed up for Gator.
Yes, in
But
September.
didn't do anything with it.
No. And she didn't know what Gator Wrestling was or nothing. I said, you sign up for it, you pay for the program. She said, I haven't gone through the stuff yet. It just sounds interesting, but I'm going to get to it. So.
You know what they used to say when people sold from stage, so everybody would go to a hotel for 3 days and sit through all the seminars. And then people would go to the back of the room and buy the course.
Yeah.
The speakers, when they were away from all the people, used to say the number one barrier to wealth is cellophane.
It's cellophane.
People would buy the course, take it home, put it in the closet, and never take the cellophane.
Don't do anything about it. Yeah.
Very difficult to learn to make money with what you learned if you didn't actually read it.
Exactly. And I know she didn't read it because when she started asking all the questions and stuff, I know she didn't. So, but I'm going to help her through it. Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing about it is, this is something Russell Brunson teaches. You don't have to be super, I know everything, have all the experience.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be a teacher, you only need to be one chapter ahead of your student.
Yeah, I think I heard you said that before. You're absolutely right. So I'm like 3 months ahead. I'm like 3-4 months ahead of her. So I'm going to be the teacher.
Yeah. Speaking of that, have you closed any deals lately?
No, but I'm in the process of closing this one because we already have the contract for the my deals is different from here, but I already did the contract for my connective fee and talked to the borrower and lender, and I just created a group text for them right now, so they're sort of trying to finalize what it's going to do by that. Okay. But here's the thing, though, the offer was from the borrower was $60,000, 10% flat rate for 6 months, or 15%. Hold on. Or 15. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Or 15% for 12 months. So when I talked to the lender, and I said, no, I talked to the borrower and I said, that is too low. My lenders always ask for 20%. She came back immediately and said, yes, I'll pay 20%.
Yeah.
So when I send the pitch to the lender, I send her the pitch for the 10% for the 6 months and the 15% for the 12 months. They took it. So I prefaced the email by sending, I said, normally my lender get 20%.
Right.
This lady's sticking to the 10 and the 15%, which tells me she didn't read the program that she bought from Pace at all.
Right.
Because trying to give her the 20%, and she said we're fine with the 10%. So they have no idea.
I didn't pay for the Gator program. Do you get a folder?
No, you get all the what do we get, Joe? We get all the YouTube channels, and we get
Yeah, it's an online course, and it's got it all laid out
Got it.
step by step, you know, so it just rolls one into the other,
Okay.
you know, and it's all, you go through it, and by the time you get to the end, it makes sense, you know, but of course, repetition. So you go back and you start all over again, and you know, and then the easiest thing that it just makes it so much easier to apply it because you're watching it as you're doing it.
Exactly. And then you have live Zooms in between while you're watching all of those. So yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
So yeah. But I'm trying to give her an extra 10%, but she's like, no, we're good. I'm like, okay.
Between you two guys, I don't need to buy the Gator program.
Oh, and that's how it's set up, because you're too busy.
Right.
You got a lot on your plate. Let us take that off of your plate. I'm working with this one person right now. He closes 5 to 6 deals, and he's trying to see the how adding me into his business as far as funding the EMDs would help his business, you know, because he told me he wants to go from 5 to 6 to 15 a month.
Yeah. And that's exactly where you get your fee, because it's a repeated stuff with the wholesalers. Yeah. I have one of them on repeat right now. I'm trying to get 6 on repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys like you, Mike, would appreciate that kind of service, because here you go, look at it, fix it. And I call you one day, you know, because I don't need to when it comes to everything's about relationships. You got a great relationship, you got a title person, you know, your real estate agent, whoever it is that's in your deals, Mike. You've got it all set, you know, you don't even have to think about it. And that's the whole point of you creating all these relationships.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to have to think about it. You're too busy scaling your business.
Right.
Instead of being stuck you're still stuck at first base when you could already.
Yeah. You have a team. You have a team you can call and say, you do this part, you do this part. So that's where we come in. Yeah.
And you just come in, you check in with me every morning. You know, I don't even need to talk to you. I just send you a quick email or a text.
Text.
We're on schedule. Everything's on point. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Done.
I mean,
you know, I give you a nice little report and then say, hey, it got funded. It's all good to go.
Yeah.
And we just sit back and wait for you to do what you do best, which is you move the deal, you get your deal funded, you do all those things because you don't have to think about what it is that you're paying us to do.
For what example, the coin operated laundry. All right. So I had to, go out and hire the attorney, but once, now we're getting closer to actually having a contract, I'm going to probably have to put down a 5 or 10 grand EMD.
Yeah. And that's where we come in.
When the seller said that to me, I responded like, no big deal. I don't have to think about that anymore.
Right.
I'll make 2 phone calls.
Yeah. Joe and myself, we're ready.
Exactly.
And that's what we're trying to get more people on the team.
Yeah.
So we have, like you have studied Joe and myself. So we're trying to get the title paper, all of that people on it. Yeah.
And that's why when we were talking about Rose earlier, she is amazing at getting
we have Rose
transaction funding, and then I'm also doing the acquisition. But over time, somebody will pop up that'll want to do the acquisition or the dispo.
Yeah, right. So we have 4 people we need. We'll get some more, and then in another couple of months we should have a good team that we can go to. I was
talking to Joe about a guy that I called the owner of a coin operated laundry and asked him advice about getting an attorney, and then he started digging into how I was actually going to run this thing. I didn't tell him that I'm looking to wholesale it, but we got talking about how to run it, and he gave me all kinds of ideas on how to run his coin operated laundry.
See, learn and grow. You just have to open your mouth and talk and ask.
Like the wash and fold. Instead of having an attendant there, he's actually got a wall of lockers where people can go in, put in their money, put their dirty clothes in a locker like you do at an airport. You get the key out, come back the next day, and the laundry's done.
Okay.
So now his wash and fold is 24/7.
24/7. Yeah, because nobody
You
has
don't
to
have
wait.
to have it at 10 in there at 2 o'clock in the morning, but people can swing by on the way home from the restaurant job and drop off their clothes.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why it's so true. Your net worth is your net work.
Yep. hmm That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
I mean, here you are talking to the lady with the 7 midterm rentals. She wants to get rid of one. You're talking about, well, you know, we work something out. Oh, by the way, I got $100 grand to spend on investing.
Yeah. It's true.
She owns the same course you do. You're just 5 chapters ahead of her.
5 chapters ahead of her. Yeah. Yeah.
But now your net worth just got $100,000 bigger.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. The lady that I'm trying to send her, who's borrowing the money, she has another network of wholesalers.
Yeah.
So she's going to link me up with those wholesalers. So yeah.
And the same thing goes with Joe. Joe's got a guy that's like, you're so good at what you do. Can you come work for me? And Joe's like, I don't need a job.
I need connections.
Yeah, I want the connection, but I want a job. It's kind of like
Yeah.
Rose, the guy right now, that realtor said, you should come work for me.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want a job. I want to be the owner.
Yeah. Right now, my job is ending the end of November because I'm a contractor with NASA. So the contractor guy that owned the contractor keep calling me that I should come into the office, and I said I don't want to come in the office. They called me today. He said he wants to hire me as a consultant, but he wants me to come in and talk to him about it, the consultant. But it depends on what it is. If I have my free time, then yes, I can just consulting while I do my real estate. But I'm not going back in the office to do all that.
Yeah.
I've been home for 3 years. I'm not looking to go back in the office 9 to 5.
That's a phenomenon that corporations are dealing with. They pushed all these people out of the office to their home office. Now they're all like, hey, I don't have a 2-hour commute, to work and home. I'm not stressed out from being on the highway. I don't have to buy, fancy clothes to go to work. I don't have to spend money on lunch.
Mhm.
Oh, hold a second. It's been more beneficial for me to stay home and work.
Yeah, and while I was home, I learned a skill. I'm doing real estate investing.
Yeah. With time, you would be wasting driving back and forth to work.
Exactly.
Yeah, and one of the things that people didn't realize is the rents that these corporations, these big companies are like, if you're not coming to the office, I don't need that much square footage. And you see the effect that took on commercial real estate.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those buildings are empty.
There's a part of town here that I like to go to that's got everything there, restaurants, stores, all this, everything is there, movie theater. So we go there and we do it all in one spot. And then after 2020, you start seeing that all those the whole strip mall, all the way around, it wraps around the side of that main grocery store.
Started close.
And they're all empty. And then right behind it, it used to be Bed Bath and Beyond.
Oh, that went into bankruptcy.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
So now it hit that, and now it's going into the other side of the strip mall because there was a strip mall behind the main grocery store.
right.
So you're starting to see that effect take place there too.
Yeah, because people are not going out to work to do all that. So that's what it is.
But you know what empty strip malls make really, really good with a minimal investment?
What?
Self-storage.
Yeah, that's getting big these days. I keep seeing.
What I'm saying is, if there's a strip mall, if you see an empty strip mall, we can talk to them about buying the building and then converting it into a self-storage.
Yeah, and some of those big grocery stores are out of business too, so we probably could convert those to self-storage.
Big empty buildings. Yep.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll look into the next one that's close to me that's going out of business. See what it is.
Because everybody that moves home now has all the crap at home.
Exactly.
now they want to put it somewhere.
They put it somewhere. They're
big enough and they're home all the time. So
I'm gonna sort it out later, and I'm gonna sort it, and then you get a whole month worth of rent in there before they sort it out. Yeah.
Yep. I about half a mile down the street from where I live, there was a big open kind of swampy kind of area next to the substation for our neighborhood, and then next to that was self-storage. Well,
Okay.
somebody came in, bought that piece of land next to the substation. Nobody's going to build next to a substation. And they brought in a bunch of fill, leveled it off, paved it over, put up a
Oh.
fence, and now
So-
they got boats and RVs in there.
My good, yeah, because you're right. Nobody wants to buy it next to a substation, but you never had the thought about you could do it.
Park an RV there.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
thing about it is, what was their construction cost?
Mhm.
Dirt and asphalt,
Right, and, maybe you
and some
could-
lighting for the for the street lights that illuminate the area. But
Yeah.
as construction goes, for something that's probably 1 million square feet, their cost was minimal.
Minimum, yeah.
Acquisition cost, landfill, and
Yeah.
asphalt.
Yeah, we see a lot of those deals go by. No, we can't let them go by because we have to think creatively. What can we do with those things?
Yeah,
Yeah, because I would never buy something that's a substation, but now that you mention it,
it
That's-
drives
that's-
me absolutely nuts when it's
Yeah.
literally. I drove by it every single day going to the supermarket.
yeah. You see,
We're
I
getting a
got
new fire station, and one of those empty lots is right across the street from a school. Oh, it's in between two schools, and it's just, I don't know how many acres of land there are there, but I've lived here 20 years.
Hmm.
And there was a fire station about maybe 3 miles from the house. And they didn't have enough people in that part of the subdivision, that part of the neighborhoods over there to sustain a fire station.
Oh,
So
man.
they went out, they closed it down
Mhm.
and moved it further out. But now we've got so much expansion
They have
right
to-
here. I'm
Yeah.
right next to a loop for the city.
Mhm.
Also, you have the inner loop in San Antonio, and then you have the outer loop.
A loop, right? Yeah,
I'm like I'm
Yeah.
like 2 miles from the outer loop.
yeah. So
And
you're
so
right.
we just got we got a fire station in that empty field between the schools.
Yeah, because the subdivisions are building up. They're gonna, yeah. I see somebody selling some acres of land somewhere in Maryland for 19,000. I probably need to go look at that.
And I don't know about San Antonio, Texas, because I don't think San Antonio is that close to the Gulf.
No, we're two
No.
hours, 2.5 hours.
Mm.
Yeah. You could drive all the way across the state of Florida in 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
You go from the Gulf to the Atlantic.
And
And that's what I'm saying is everybody moves here. They buy a boat. Most towns won't let you park your boat in your driveway, so they got to put it in storage.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
$125 a month.
Think creatively and don't let
And you,
these
you talk to your customer once a year. I mean, geez, what a better model.
Yeah, it's crazy how big this state is.
Yeah, yeah.
I've driven across it several times. Amen to that.
I made it down there yet, but one of these days,
Oof. It takes let me put it this way. You start in Texarkana and drive all the way to El Paso, it's a full day.
Yeah.
I'm not
Mhm.
talking about daytime. I'm talking about 24 hours.
That's about an 18-hour drive.
Mhm.
It's all
Yeah, that's an 18-hour drive.
A long time. That's like me driving from Maryland to Florida, but it only takes me 16 hours to get there.
That's exactly.
About that.
Yeah.
I'm 8 hours. I've measured it. I'm 8 hours from Texarkana.
Did I tell you guys a story that I learned from an old auctioneer down in Joe's neck of the woods about the World War II veteran or the World War II POWs from Germany?
No.
In Texas, there is a huge ethnic German population. The reason why is whenever you saw those troop ships, in the newsreels going over to Europe to fight World War II, those ships didn't come back empty. They came back with German POWs. You couldn't keep them in Great Britain because it's an island.
Mhm.
But they put them on transport ships and brought them back to New York City, and they put them on trains. And it took 3 days to get these POWs from New York City to Texas.
Can imagine.
And by the time the German soldiers got to Texas, they were like, "Are you trying to tell me that we are only halfway across this country?" They're like, "No way we can beat this country." Exactly. The German POW soldiers, when they realized they were on a train for 3 full days and only went halfway across America, They're like, the people of Germany have no idea how big the United States is. I mean, obviously we do now because of, satellites and stuff, pictures and Google, blah, blah, blah. But back in the 30s and 40s,
They can't beat them. It's too big.
Yeah.
It's quite a story, Mike.
No, it's true. I learned that from an auctioneer that was from one of the bigger auctioneers in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, that area is about an hour and a half from where I live.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, I'm pretty sure that back in the 40s, there was probably not a whole lot there.
No. Yeah, one lane going and one lane coming.
Probably.
Yeah.
Sure, you can escape, but you got to go across the desert to go anywhere.
Yeah. It's this the back in the frontier days. That's when a lot of people settled here from Germany, because that part of Texas reminds them, with the small hills and everything.
Uh-huh.
They're not mountains; they're hills,
Mm-hmm.
and so it looks just like it.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah. Hey, I've been working on. I had a lady. I put some outreach on Facebook for what I do.
Yep.
I had a lady come up to, she messaged me, sent me a messenger and everything. She's selling her place. I looked at it. It's in California, way up north, Northern California. And it's an expired listing. You got an ADU on it. So it makes it hard to get comps for something like that.
ADU?
Yeah, it's an extra dwelling there, accessory dwelling.
Oh,
It's a little apartment,
right.
so like a little apartment. So
the comps are really hard to get. Yeah.
comps are really hard to get. So I couldn't find anybody that would take something on like that.
Yeah, comps.
California's tough, man.
Yeah, it is. It's very tough.
I work with Michelle Fall. She sends me stuff, and she's in California, and she's like, I thought you didn't like California. I said, I don't want to buy and hold in California. I'll wholesale in California.
Yeah,
I'm not going to buy and hold anything.
Yeah, we'll wholesale anywhere, but we're not going to buy and hold anywhere.
yeah.
Mm.
Because, a renter can stop paying you and live there for 2 years for free. Same thing with Illinois, same thing with New York.
New
Mike,
York.
are you talking about me?
I might be. I thought it was Michelle, but it might be.
No. The California one? It's because last time you said you don't like California. It's a horrible state, and that's what I had in mind.
Okay. It's a horrible state when you're the owner of a business. And if
Right.
you're a landlord, the way the California laws are written, it's the same thing with Illinois, and it's the same thing with New York. The tenant can stop paying you, and they will live in your property for free for 2 years before the government gets around to kicking them out.
But I feel like 2 years is a long time.
It is. You're not getting any
is.
rent. You're not getting any rent, and you can't kick them out.
That's right.
And you have to pay the mortgage. So yeah.
That's right.
So
That's a long time.
Don't get me wrong. I love the actual physical state of California, but the way it's run right now is crazy.
Business. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just like a saying, like people say, like Atlanta is not a real place. I thought it was just a saying, like.
Don't let the people in Atlanta hear you say that, girl.
No, but like
I've been to Atlanta. It's a real place. I swear to God.
no, but like they say Atlanta is not a real place, and they say like California, you have to be, like I don't know, like California, you have to pretend something like that.
A lot of those people up there pretend. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Hollywood up there, of course.
Yeah. So like I thought it was just a thing.
Mm-mm. It's good, but the business side of it is not so good.
And again, it's a say. I'm not picking on just California. New York and Illinois are the exact same way.
Mhm.
But by the way, Mike, not like I wasn't sure about New York, so like I called someone in New York, and like so you don't want New York at all?
For business, absolutely do. But to be a landlord, no.
Right.
For example,
And what about to selling
For example,
to whole?
we were talking about Carol's Airbnb down in Orlando. There's like 15,000 Airbnbs in or around New York City in the 5 boroughs.
Mhm.
The city of New York just banned all of them a month ago. Put them all out of business.
Why?
They didn't ban them. They just said that every tenant has to be approved by the city. So
Every tenant has to be approved by the city?
every
It
tenant
doesn't
has to be
even make
approved by the city.
sense.
So it's banned because
What it
nobody's
is the hotel lobby bought enough politicians.
Mhm.
So the hotel lobby put their competition out of business. They didn't ban them. They just made it so difficult to run that business that you can't run an Airbnb now successfully, profitably in around New York City.
So are you open to buy and wholesale? To doing
Absolutely.
wholesale in
Absolutely.
New York?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like Carol said, we'll wholesale anyway.
Okay.
But when it comes to actually being a landlord in those 3 states,
But like if you're not buying and the people that you know are not buying in New York, so who is buying in New York?
people that live in New York and like living there. I'm not one of them.
I love New York. Like it hurts my heart because I love New York.
I'm a huge Yankees fan. Trust me, when baseball season, I watch the Yankees. Of 162 baseball games, I'll watch 152 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just easier doing business in the southern states.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, Washington State and Oregon. I just read an article that McDonald's. There's been a McDonald's in San Francisco.
They're banning McDonald's? How can you ban McDonald's?
No, you can if you got $1.5 million. But what I'm saying is there's a McDonald's that's one of the first McDonald's in San Francisco, been there for like 60 or 70 years, is shutting down because of the crime.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, businesses are leaving downtown San Francisco because of the crime and the vagrancy.
That's bad.
Well, yeah. But that's because of these politicians. They're like, if you break into a store, the owner gets in trouble if you try to stop them.
That's really bad.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying about California. I mean, I'll wholesale anywhere, but buy and hold, I want to go where, there's some fairness. There's fair laws.
Okay.
Like, down here in Florida, I know in Volusia County and in Polk County, if somebody stops paying you and they have no intention of paying their rent, you can have them out in 30 days.
Okay. Is that in all the states? And is that just in Florida or is that like more so red states?
It's more prevalent in Florida because Florida is a conservative state, but it's county by county. So I don't want to speak to all the counties because I don't have experience in all the counties.
Okay.
But yeah, I did a flip last summer where the guy that bought it from me needed to evict the people. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that had 4 different families living in it.
Okay.
Totally violation of code. City didn't care. But he had to evict, and it took him because it was 4 different people. It took him about 45 days to get him out. And I think it cost him like $250, $300.
Wow.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, it was 30 to 45 days, and he had 4 people move out of the house.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it's just how different states are managed. So yeah, no, I'll wholesale, and just to be clear, I'll wholesale anywhere, but I only want to buy and hold in the southern states.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's why I'm focusing on Texas because, like, I feel like Texas is pretty safe.
Texas is great.
For the most part, I feel like Texas is safe. You never hear any nonsense, and like, yeah.
Texas leads the United States in people that are real.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm like,
I mean, at least once a month you hear about a bad guy losing the battle with a good guy who had a gun.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, in terms of real estate, like I feel like Texas is pretty safe. And I know a guy in I just like I mentioned it to my mother-in-law, and like she said, oh, maybe she said I forgot the guy's name. I should have asked my husband, but she said, oh, maybe your Mike knows that friend, and like her friend is like a big real estate guy, and I'm like probably, but like he lives in your state, and he said if you're looking for someone, you can go to him. I don't know, but like yeah, and she said like she heard that uh he left New York to go to Florida because Florida is much more easier to get not condos, but like he said, like she said, he has a lot of multi-families and stuff like that. So yeah,
Very, very business friendly. Even during the COVID insanity, our governor, after about 2 weeks, was like, all right, this is stupid. And he's like, no, we're not, businesses, you're free to open. Now the individual cities push back, like Miami and Fort Lauderdale, and Orlando, Tallahassee, the Democrat run cities, they push back and still had the lockdowns, but it wasn't from the governor's office.
okay.
Which is very different than California and the other Democrat states where, I mean, New York City, was locked down for months.
Yeah, New York was insane. Like New York was insane. And like at one point, I think even the border patrol, like they weren't getting paid. And like they were having like lots and lots of things because my father-in-law works for the borders. Like they weren't getting paid. They had to work overtime. And my father-in-law is like 66 or 65.
Yeah.
And like he said, like at that point they had put something like saying that he can't retire. They couldn't retire even if they wanted to. And
And the thing about it is, just because I choose to live in a different state, again, doesn't mean I wouldn't wholesale to somebody who loves living in New York City. Living in New York State. I got one of my roommates from college lives in Albany. That's in New York State.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he loves it. He thinks it's the greatest thing in the world.
Do you know Plattsburgh?
I know Plattsburgh, been there. A friend of mine went to school there.
Okay, because I'm always in Plattsburgh, like, but no one never knows about Plattsburgh. And like all the Canadians.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much like part of Canada, but like in the States, like all the Canadians just go to Target in Plattsburgh because it's the closest.
Yeah, Plattsburgh, like 45 minutes from Montreal.
Yeah, like well, an hour and like from my house, I know from my house to Target, it's exactly an hour and 13 minutes. It's an hour and 13 minutes. And like we do the drive pretty often, like for every 2 to 3 weeks. My husband hates me.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, I mean, there's people doing business everywhere. It's just where you choose to do business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's some people that I know that they never left New York. Like they will never, and like they swear on New York.
Yeah. It's absolutely true. And given what's gone on with, taxes and immigration now and the COVID thing, a lot of people that think like I do moved to Texas and North Carolina and South Carolina and Georgia and Florida. And now the people that are in New York City politically has gotten more blue, where the southern states have gotten more red. Our people voted with their feet. And the people that are in New York City love New York City. They love the rules, the regulations, blah, 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 all that stuff. All the people that didn't like that stuff moved.
Yeah.
And that's that, as real estate investors, we need to pay attention to those people waves, because where you have waves of people, you have appreciating real estate.
Yeah. What do you think about Boston? Is that in Massachusetts? Yeah.
Yep. Boston, Massachusetts, great city. Been there. Love it. Think the people are a little bit obnoxious, but then again,
You know what? The Canadians, we think that everyone in the States are obnoxious. So it's really bad. But I don't feel like I married, like, listen, I married one of your people. So like, he's not that obnoxious. And I feel like John is trying to give like the US people like a better thing. Like when people meet my husband at first, they're like, "Oh my God, you're a New Yorker," and then when they talk to him, he's really great. But like in Canada, like I don't. So what's the difference with a person from Boston and a person from like New York? Isn't New York
Very
supposed
little.
to be
To be honest with you, very little. Between Boston
Okay.
and New York, very little.
The question, huh?
No, the difference
Wow.
between Boston and Dallas, two different universes,
Yeah, but
Right,
see,
Joe?
like,
right?
Right.
I
Yeah.
feel like the people in maybe that's why I get along better with the people in Texas, because I feel like they're like no nonsense, and like they take care of themselves and their thing, and they're a little bit more like Canadians in terms of like no nonsense, no bullshit, and then they're just gonna tell you what it is.
Do you know that the 49th parallel is the border between the United States and Canada?
No, I didn't know that.
The 49th parallel is the border between the United States and Canada. It's a line that goes
Okay.
across from the Pacific to the Atlantic,
Okay.
except it dips down to go through the Great Lakes.
Okay.
Do you know that more Canadians live below the 49th parallel than live above the 49th parallel? So basically, the majority of Canadians actually live down in the United States.
I know. Listen,
Now, when you look at a map, you're gonna be like, holy crap.
no, but I've heard that like there's parts of Canada that you have no choice to go to the United States and then to go back.
Like
Like I have friends in
Montauk
Niagara,
Island, yeah.
yeah, Niagara Falls. Like they have to go through the states to go back home, but it's like parts of
You
so
know,
like
and I can tell you, being a Gen Xer back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, we would go through customs and just, stop. Hi, how you doing? Show your license. Keep going.
yeah.
Now it's full passport, the whole 9 yards, and it's crazy world.
No, actually,
Back in the
no.
70s and 80s, going to Canada was like, I had an apartment, one of my first apartments. It was quicker for me to go across the Peace Bridge to go buy beer than it was to go to the supermarket down the way.
Wow.
That's the way
But
it was
you know-
back in the day. Canada was like the 51st state.
But but you know what? Now you can actually cross over. If you're from the States, you can come to Canada with no passports. And if you're from Canada, you can go through the States without no passports.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Everybody makes a big deal about Canada. I love Canada.
Oh, I don't like it. It's so cold, Mike. Today I was so cold this morning. I was talking to you, I was shivering. I was like, it's so cold. And then at one point, I put you on mute and I said, il fait tellement froid. I told my husband, it's so cold. I'm like, Mike is in Florida and I can't even tell him it's cold. I was shivering.
And why do people from Montreal and Quebec and Toronto come to Florida? Because it's not freezing here. And
Yeah, I know.
And where do they stay? They stay at Carol's person's Airbnbs.
Really?
See how this all ties together?
Yeah, that's right. That's why she had a waiting list from January to April. People come
Oh,
to
right.
the oh, down there.
And you know what, Carol? A fun thing to ask that woman next time you talk to her is how many of them are Canadians?
Probably a lot of them.
Probably a lot of them.
You should. You should.
So
But, like, I know.
if
there's
you've got a short-term rental, market in Canada.
That is true.
And you know what? You should market. I know like a large part of people in Quebec go to where they go? They go to somewhere Miami. They go either to Miami or like
Fort Lauderdale.
Florida. But
They go
yeah,
to
Fort Lauderdale.
They go to Hallandale Beach. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And like they will tell you like, oh my God, she's like the second, like it's the second Quebec, and they speak French and like the whole thing. So if they want to market, tell them I'll help them, because it's like insane.
And let me tell
The
you,
amount of people.
there is nothing like a neon white Canadian from Quebec in a Speedo.
Yeah. I'm
My-
telling but because we don't like listen, when like the coldest ever here, I think was like minus 60 something. And
Mhm.
like when you get to that point, I won't like you're like, I have to get out. Like my mom last week, she booked like a plane ticket, and she's like, I need to get out. And she's like, I need to get out because like this is too much the cold. But then again, she went to France because she doesn't speak English, and yeah, but like in France it's like less cold, but like it still gets cold.
By the
But
way,
I'm like,
after a 10-day vacation of those neon white Quebecers, after a 10-day vacation in Fort Lauderdale, you know what they look like? That.
yes. And you know what? The worst part is right before they go on vacation, you will see them at the. I just have the name in French, like to get tan
Tanning
to the
bed.
tanning place. Yeah, and then they'll tell you to say, je vais me faire bronzer. Well, let me say it in English. I'm going to get tan before my trip to Florida, and you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
By the way, Mike, I spoke to someone in French. You didn't think it would happen, but I spoke to someone in French and I sent you the information. And like the guy was so
not in
excited.
French because I speak
But it
French.
was in English. Like, no. The guy spoke English, but in
Okay.
French. But as soon as he heard that I spoke French, he's like, "Oh my gosh, I should practice my French." And we practiced his French.
That's
And
awesome.
then
See, this is what makes you such a great cold caller, is because you have that way of building rapport with people.
yeah. But then
All right,
I made
Mike, I have to talk about my contract with you and Rose, okay?
Sure, go
What?
ahead.
He said, sure, he don't understand what I'm saying, Rose.
Okay.
And the minute
Hey,
Rose
what
was
Carol's
calling
trying
me,
to say is she refers you.
exactly.
Yes.
Rose was calling me every day on the hour with these and these. I said, no, you need to talk to Mike. Because he has the capacity to do all that. Little me can't keep up with her. I could not keep up with her at all. So I said, no, you need to come to the Zoom and listen to Mike for yourself. So you get an idea of what we do.
I created a whole filing cabinet for that woman.
And that's only a week.
And that's after working with her for 2 days.
Yeah,
Oh
she
my
killed
gosh.
my inbox. She killed my inbox. She killed my text. She killed everything.
Oh,
But I'm happy.
I feel so bad, Carol. You have no idea. And then
No.
I remember,
I feel good because you're giving us the deal and Mike can handle it. We can handle it in this group. I'm glad you didn't go someplace else. No, I'm happy.
I wouldn't have done that. Like I wouldn't go to someone else after talking to you. I felt like I'm very loyal to the people that I'm around. So like I really try to get the best deal or like build rapport with people because I know that once you build rapport with someone, then you can go the mile with the person. So I would not
Exactly.
like I wouldn't. That's why I called you after Mike called me and I said, Carol, I want you to know.
Did you hear that, Mike? She called me to let me know that she's gonna do some stuff for you, and she didn't want me to be upset.
Yeah.
And I said, no, we're in the same group. This is what the group is for. Mike can use you more than me, and that's why we turn you on to the group. And we just go from there.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember how I met you, Rose. How did we meet?
I think I had your phone from one of the elephant challenge, and then I was like, listen, I went on the elephant challenge and then I took down your like I was screenshotting like a bunch of numbers that were in there, but like I didn't understand what's an EMD and what's gators and stuff. And then I was like, let me just reach out to someone because at the end of that call, I think I was like one of the last people to talk to Pace. And he said to me, he said, you sound so confused. I'm like, I'm not confused. It's just like I don't understand. Like I don't understand. And then I went on and then I started calling people. And then I had all these people that I called, but like I couldn't give them anything. And then they were willing to give me information. And then I said, like I went to my phone and then my husband said, like, this is Carol. And like Carol is my husband's grandmother's name. And then he said, like, you
Wow.
should contact her.
Ah,
Yeah.
thank him for me, okay?
So that's exactly how it went.
Okay.
You guys
Yeah.
mind if I ask Joe a question?
No, go
Sure.
ahead.
Joe, you still there? We may have lost him.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, here come.
Oh, you're
He's
still
there.
there?
Mhm.
You know I'm
No,
gonna
I-
ask. You know I'm about to ask you.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't done anything yet, man. I've been so crazy. No, I caught a little bit of what's going on right now with wholesale hotline.
Oh, they on?
Yeah, they for some reason I thought it was supposed to be at 7 p.m. Central, and they
They're on.
turned it on at 6.
Daylight savings time. Arizona doesn't.
No,
move.
no, I know, but it usually comes on at. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. It
Arizona
usually
doesn't
says-
move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, they got Jerry Norton on.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, why don't we wrap this up so you guys can go watch it?
Yeah, well,
All
they're
right,
talking
sounds
about.
good.
The only reason I brought it up is because they're talking about the new ruling from NAR.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the
Okay.
new ruling for? I know that they just lost $1.5 billion.
yeah.
What's the new ruling from NAR?
Well, there's. I didn't quite catch what he was talking about. Something about the buyer's agents, and their fees, and that was the big argument right there. But from what they were talking about is that, everything is the way they're trying to structure their argument, and basically what they're doing is they're looking at what they're looking at the roadmap, and they're going to navigate their way out of it. You're not going to beat a big organization like that.
Well, NAR is the biggest lobbying organization in America. So there's power to be lost, and nobody wants to do that.
Yeah. So, and all they did was it just because they didn't even put, from according to what they were just saying, they didn't put up a fight. But that and all that's all it is. It's just a strategy. I want to see what you're holding. I want to see your cards.
Yeah.
That way I could, you maneuver your way out of that situation, and we need organizations like that, right? It's just that sometimes not, and it's the same anywhere. You're always going to find a bad apple.
That's anything.
Yeah, in anything. So you're going to see that. But the thing is that when you get caught, it's a tough situation to see, and you hear some people cheering, you hear some people saying, "Wow, that's difficult," and they're talking about people who backed out, already broke their contracts with them because of the ruling.
Yeah.
Redfin is out.
Yeah.
And there's going to be others, but I just wanted to catch that real quick, just
Well,
to see.
It sounds like they're on top of it. I couldn't care less about that.
Yeah, because and the thing is, it's a fair thing. You see people demonizing them, right? But that's just the organization. There are people in that organization.
Yeah.
So when you let people know there's other ways, I'm speaking brokers and agents. Those are people.
Yeah.
And it's not an us against them. It's us. We all have to just kind of learn to work together.
Yeah.
Don't make, I never saw them as them. I always, my business model is I reach out, I work with a lot of agents in what I do.
And that's what Rose is really good at.
Yeah, and exactly. And let's continue that. And now that they've been set back a little bit, they would be a little bit more open to working with everybody in this industry, wholesalers and whoever else, the buy and holds, because you look at these people, yeah, they're buyers, but they're investors.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, well, I don't want to, you're an investor, I don't want to have anything to do with you.
Well, see, that's also going to change. That's also been changing over the last year too, because the number of buyers, the retail buyers that go out and get a mortgage through a bank are way, way, way down, 30-year low.
Yeah.
So, a lot of these guys, we've talked about it in past Zoom calls, is a lot of these realtors are going to give up their licenses because it's just not enough money to make a living.
Yeah,
When
but that's just,
when you're working on commission.
yeah, and you see that you had front row seats to that the last time this happened.
Oh yeah.
You know, so you got to see what that looks like, and it's just what is just part of it. That's just what happens. It's nothing to do with what happened right now
Yeah.
or what's going on at this very moment. You keep telling me about that cycle where we are when it went up and you hit that peak and you start seeing everything slide
Yeah.
downward, and that's when people are making their exits. Well, this is going to happen anyway, because if you, like you said before, you take your graph 2008, 9, 10, and you align it with, yep, and you're right there. And so we're watching that happen. So it's not so much that, oh, they did something wrong, evil, and it's terrible. No, people are doing that anyway, because that's just what that's what just happens.
You know, and yesterday another wholesaler sent me a deal in Indianapolis and needed help dispoing it, and she's short on time. So instead of me, you know, finding out who the rehabbers are, finding out who the LLC is, skip tracing the LLC, trying to call the owner, blah, 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 blah. All I did is I just went into Zillow. I put in the zip code. I put in the keyword search renovate or renovated. It gave me like 45 different properties that have been sold in the last 12 months. No, it wasn't even 45. It was more than that. It was like 145 properties that were listed as renovated and sold. You know, took the address, put it into PropWare, got the name of the realtor, called up the realtor and said, hey, listen, I've got a property under contract. You know, we've got it at 60% of ARV. Do you have people that renovate houses? Now, I already know he does.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, I've got this property. Can I send it to you? He's like, absolutely. What's your cell phone? What's your email? And then I put together a property flyer and send it off to him. So that's where a realtor is a real benefit, because we've only got like 7 days on this inspection.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, I told him, I said, we're short on time. So send this out to your more reliable rehabbers, because, you know, this property they can pick it up. Our ask is at 60% of ARV.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then that's what I do.
Yeah.
Where did you put it in? You Googled that information, or
Zillow.
you went into Zillow?
Zillow.
Okay.
So I took the property that we're wholesaling, took the zip code, put it into Zillow. That's gonna pull up all the houses. Then I go into the filters. Sold, 2-bedroom, 1 bath in this particular house, and then sold in the only single family houses, sold in the last 12 months, and then in the keyword search I put renovated. So it pulls up all, you know, it filters out everything except for those filters and the keyword renovated in the property description. That tells me that those are all rehabbed houses.
Right.
And then what I have in my is I have the Zillow export app from Chrome.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Click that. 30 seconds later, I got 145 realtors to call.
Yeah, nice.
That I know represented a house that was rehabbed and sold.
Mm-hmm.
And you call them up, hey, I've got this house under property, you know, contract. It's worth $150,000. We've got it for 90. You know, do you have any rehabbers that are looking to buy another project? Absolutely do. Send it to them.
Do you call the office, or are you looking just for their cell phone information?
Probably it depends on what's listed on Zillow. Sometimes I would say half the time the realtor puts in their cell phone. The other time it's just the office. But then you call the office, you talk to the realtor, and when you're bringing them a deal, all they got to do is find a buyer. They're more than happy to give you their email and cell phone. And then that goes in a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So I'm only going to go through this process when somebody sends me a deal in a city that I don't have buyers. I go through this process one time. Once I get 20 or 30 realtors that have rehabbers, I just blast it out to those rehabbers. And when I do a deal, now I have the rehabber.
Yep. Yeah. There's your buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, you know, this ain't rocket science. I mean, you go to TikTok or YouTube, there's a gazillion videos on this.
Yeah,
And everybody
Yeah.
is putting their own spin on the same old technique.
exactly. And on that subject, I put something in. I set something aside. I want to shoot it over to you so we can work on it later this week. I'll send it to you tomorrow, the
All right.
address and everything, and let me know what. So it is 95% renovated.
Okay.
You know, they like gave up on the one of the spare bedrooms, you know, and then plus also, I'm like I said, some of the stuff that I'm working on, I got someone who's looking for gap funding, and the guy 35 years in construction, you know, working in houses, and he decided he's going to start taking down some of these properties now. And so I connected with him. I'm working with him, and he's looking at a house 1,700 square feet. You know, and I'm like, wow. I said, hey, have you heard of pad split?
There you go.
And he's like, because he's telling me, oh, I'm going to get this much out of it once I renovate it, because he's going to do all the work himself.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, no, well, that's why I dropped that little pad split idea in his head, you know, right then, and I put a little bug in his ear because, well, he can do it. He knows how to do that kind of stuff. He's that's what he's done, you know, for 35 years.
Right.
You know, but yeah, so that's what he's working on right now. I'm working with him to get that funding.
I just got an email from Pad Split that if you refer a Pad Split host, you get $1,000.
Oh, nice.
That ain't nothing.
No, that ain't nothing.
All you gotta do is refer
That-
a Pad Split host. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of Benjamin right there.
Hey,
Not a-
Carol, I
Yep.
sent that out for somebody, and I was gonna call you in
Mhm.
the morning if I don't hear back from this person, and maybe you and I can work on this together.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. I'm gonna keep my
Here-
fingers crossed so we can
Here's
start.
the email right here. Earn $1,000 with our host referral program. I just got this 5 hours ago. For every host
Send
you
it-
refer, every host
Yeah.
you refer, you can earn up to $1,000 when they list 5 rooms in one of our core markets.
All right, forward us an email because I don't think I got that. And I'm on the Patrick email stuff. Make sure Joe gets it because he might be getting a referral fee from that guy.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, he says that there's a mother-in-law suite in that place, and it's got its own bathroom
What city is this in?
in Phoenix.
Okay. Whoa, Arizona.
Yeah.
Of course. Hot market.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, what's your email again? Just give me the first part of your email.
CLE.
You know, I happen to me every time I email him, I'm looking for JO and cannot find it. I keep
Yeah.
forgetting it's CLE every time. But mine is easy. It's Carol.
Yep. All right, I just sent it to all 3 of you.
Okay, great.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be out of the country, but I'll have text and email
Yeah,
and,
you
and
leave it on
Wi-Fi.
Wednesday, right?
Right. Yeah, and I'll have Wi-Fi 75% of the time. So yeah.
And Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm going to the mudding event down in Punta Gorda.
Oh, that time again. Hmm.
I'll be in the woods all weekend long, but I'll have my cell phone, I'll have my laptop with me
With the mud people. Okay.
with the mud people.
Yeah.
That means don't text him during the day. It's at night when he comes back and clean the mud off. That's when he'll answer. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what we do is we sit around the fire and we tell stories.
All right. So you might get an answer from him in late night.
That'll work.
All right.
All right.
All right, Joe. Hope to hear
Guys,
from you tomorrow.
Go out
Okay.
and close some deals.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bye,
Okay.
Rose.
and you
Bye,
two don't be
guys.
surprised
Bye,
if I'm
Carol.
calling you guys asking for 10 grand in a couple of days.
Okay. Okay.
We'll
See
be
ya.
We'll
ready.
find it.
Okay.
If we don't have it, we'll find it.
Okay.
All right. Have a great week, you guys. Bye-bye. Bye, Rose.
Bye, Vic. Bye, Carol. Bye, Mike. Bye, Joe.
Bye, Rose. Talk to you
Bye.
guys
Bye-bye.
later.
Mhm.